Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Serving the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area with the best prices in town and everything to make sure your home is looking good, working good, and ready to work in case there's a tropical storm or a hurricane or any kind of adverse weather. Plus, it's the fall. You want to get your yard looking good for Halloween. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number. Again, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. The website, omnitruevalue.com. We're going to take a look, of course, excuse me, at Tropical Storm Fiona this afternoon on the satellite. We were talking yesterday about how the center was mostly exposed, and it is still exposed to a degree. There are thunderstorms that are trying to form around the center. That started happening overnight and this morning. You can kind of pick out a little ring there around the low-level circulation, but the vast majority of the convection is still on the east side. There's still not a whole lot on the west side, and the center is getting very close to the island of Guadeloupe and will be impacting the Northern Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and eventually Puerto Rico. We've got tropical storm warnings up for all those islands as Fiona continues to move on toward the west. Here's the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center. This was as of 2 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, 16.2 north, 60.3 west with maximum sustained winds of about 50 miles an hour. Again, it's rather close now to the island of Guadeloupe. Moving west at 14. The forecast track now takes it into the northeastern Caribbean, south of the Virgin Islands and south of Puerto Rico. So those islands will probably experience wind and rain from this. And then takes a track to the western part of the Dominican Republic on Sunday, Sunday night into Monday, starts to make that bend more northwestward. And the Hurricane Center is indicating that if it stays intact, it has a good shot of maybe becoming a hurricane once it reaches the southeastern Bahamas sometime Tuesday into Wednesday. And beyond that is, of course, the big question. The latest hurricane track models from the Hurricane Center show that bend to the northwest. Just about all of the models are doing that. There's one outlier here that goes west of 75 degrees west, but most of them turn it mainly to the left of, say, 73.5 west, and then start to bend it northward over the next 7 days. So the cluster, even in the shorter range, there's a wide variation here, and I think that has to do with the fact that the low-level center is not organized, and that allows it to be subject to larger variations than it otherwise would be. And the intensity models, the vast majority of them keep this as a tropical storm, and then most of them between 96 and 120 hours, and this is probably at the point where we get into the Atlantic that you see it strengthening up to a hurricane, and we have a couple of them that take it up to at least a Category 2. Now, what is this all going to mean for the Northeast? Well, I have the latest models here from this afternoon. All the global models recurve this offshore, and there's a fair amount of consistency in these models. You see the GFS here. Once it emerges out into the Atlantic, it moves north-northwest and north and strengthens, actually passes west of Bermuda, and then turns on out to the northeast into the open waters of the Atlantic. The Canadian model, just to give you the full range here, the Canadian model is the one that's the furthest to the left. It actually takes it through the easternmost Bahamas, but the outcome is still the same. Perhaps it gets a little bit closer to the coastal Carolinas than the GFS, but it still winds up turning out to the northeast and makes a pass for Nova Scotia and more Newfoundland than Nova Scotia, but gets close to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland next weekend. And that's on the long range, of course. And the European, which we just are getting now, the European is another one that takes it through the eastern Bahamas, and then actually the European winds up turning it northeastward even faster now than the other models. It's interesting how the European model just just a day or two ago was the furthest west, was further west. The Canadian was the furthest west, and now it seems to be the furthest one to the east. And the issue is with all of this, it is becoming apparent that we're going to have a very strong upper trough. You see it here on Thursday, moving through into southeastern Canada with a strong shortwave in the Great Lakes. You see the feature that's over the Bahamas is Fiona. The trough really just strengthens considerably. You have westerly winds in the atmosphere that go all the way down to the latitude of Miami, or the equal to the latitude of Miami out in the Atlantic, and it just picks it up and carries it out to the northeast. And the GFS is about the same. There's actually two troughs. The first one on Tuesday just kind of misses it, but pulls it northward, and that sets it up for the second trough to come down, pick it up, and just kick it out to sea like a bowling ball. And that's the way I think we're going to play it. As far as the short-range weather is concerned, there's really not a whole lot to say other than the fact that we're going to have a really nice weekend here in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states. It's going to warm up. We'll probably be in the upper 70s to low 80s tomorrow. Another cool night tonight. We saw lows this morning get into the 30s in the Pine Barrens on Long Island and in parts of northwest New Jersey. Many areas were in the 40s. We're enjoying a beautiful day today. I think we'll have another cool night tonight and a sunny, a little bit warmer tomorrow, upper 70s and low 80s as the high moves offshore. A little more humid on Sunday, but the humidity is still going to be rather reasonable, middle to upper 80s on Sunday. And then on Monday late, we've got a cold front that'll be coming through, a weak one, that could produce a shower or a thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening. Then that goes out. Tuesday and Wednesday will be warm. I think we'll have temperatures in the 80s for much of this coming week. And maybe by the time we get to Thursday, we could have a shot of going to 90 degrees. But here's that strong cold front that I'm talking about for Thursday. It's pretty obvious there. And there's a very nice cool high that's coming down out of Canada that is going to be moving to the east. So the front kicks the storm out to sea and brings in a nice cool air mass for next Friday and next weekend. So you've got that to look forward to. The last weekend of summer is this weekend. Next weekend is the first weekend of autumn. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. And there's the satellite loop of the Northeast. You can see plenty of sunshine except for some clouds up in parts of upstate New York. But mainly sunny skies from Maine all the way down into Georgia and the Florida Panhandle. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I may pop up live this evening on YouTube with an update on Fiona. So if it happens, it'll probably be around 7 p.m. Eastern Time.